Governor Abbott has increased the readiness level of the State Operations Center to level 3 ahead of tonight's storm chances. And joining us now virtually is Wes Rapaport with the Texas Department of Emergency Management. Wes, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be with you, Quita.
Well, first, let's talk a little bit about what that level 3 designation really means and what the state is doing ahead of these storms.
Right, so that level 3 increased readiness means that we here at the Texas Division of Emergency Management have brought in other state agency partners around the table to ensure that we are all actively coordinating the state resources that are deployed in support of local officials should there be requests for state assistance. Now, we have resources staged across the threat area, up along the I-35 corridor, out in West Texas, and then in areas further east as this storm system makes its way through the Lone Star State and pushes out towards the parts of East Texas.
So what can Texans do to prepare ahead of the system tonight?
Well, it's really important to make sure that you follow the weather and follow those local forecasts that Hunter and Jordan were just talking through, making sure that you have an emergency preparedness plan like a go kit, and that you've talked through with your family, that you know what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it in case local officials provide guidance or direction. It's so important to follow those instructions from local or state emergency management officials and first responders. Another thing that's important for us is to ensure that people have that personal preparedness and just that situational awareness. You know, we talk about stay weather aware, and the turnaround don't drown message really only takes a couple of inches of water to cause somebody a really frustrating afternoon or evening. So one of the things we want to be mindful of is the timing of this threat. You know, when we hit the overnight hours, much more dangerous at night. You know, it can be very tricky to gauge if there's water on the roadway that you're approaching, or what threat you might be seeing because the visibility is down. And so it's important that people pay attention to that local forecast. The state is doing our part and has made our preparations. We need Texans to do their part too.
And I know the storms back in July happened under cover of darkness during the early morning hours, and so many people were just devastated by those storms when they rolled through. What resources are available to help them get help if they end up having to deal with any kind of damage tomorrow morning or this weekend?
And I'm glad you asked that question. You know, it's one of the things that is sometimes an afterthought for people, and we have established a damage reporting tool. If you experience damage overnight, you are encouraged to visit damage.tdem.texas.gov, and on that website you can report your damage should there be any, and that will help do a few things. It will help determine for officials where the immediate resource needs are, helps officials connect Texans with available resources and services, and then also should we be in a position where we'd be in a place where we could determine the state's eligibility for federal disaster assistance of various kinds, those damage reports are a key piece of that process.
Lots of great information for us. Wes Rapaport with the Texas Department of Emergency Management. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks, Quita.